Parademus is shaken up after slamming into this huge pothole.
Potholes are sending cars careening out of control.
But the conversation continues as to the condition and the safety of roads all over the state.
Infrastructure, when you define infrastructure, what does that include? Most people think infrastructure is just roads. In the legislative parlance is roads, it's bridges, it's water, it's sewer, it's stormwater.
Have you ever wondered how the roads beneath your feet impact your daily life? Imagine a world where broken roads delay ambulances, goods never arrive, and travel is unsafe. Roads are the lifelines of our communities. They aren't just asphalt. They connect people to jobs, schools, hospitals, and opportunities. Roads keep society moving, but when roads fail, lives are affected. Think about the last time you visited a loved one, rushed to an appointment, or enjoyed a road trip. Behind every memory is a road that made it possible. Every mile you drive, every package you receive, and every ambulance that rushes to save a life depends on one thing: roads. Without them, life as we know it would come to a standstill. Poor road conditions have costed billions of dollars in car repairs. Currently, 81.7% of the United States are, quote, acceptable to drive on. But what if we invested in better roads instead of fixing those broken cars? As of right now, the federal government does not provide enough financial support for infrastructure per state.
States and localities over the last several years have stepped up and increased funding for transportation infrastructure, but the federal government hasn't.
In the state of Mississippi, the federal government currently provides $827,287,064 for infrastructure. There have been attempts made by President Joe Biden to improve infrastructure throughout the nation.
We're on the cusp of an infrastructure decade.
A $1 trillion infrastructure bill was passed on November 15, 2021. It was called the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. The bill includes billions of dollars that are set aside towards roads, bridges, freight and passenger rail, broadband internet, and severe weather resilience operations. What will this bill impact?
This long overdue legislation delivers comprehensive investment in our roads and bridges, ports and waterways, clean water systems, broadband networks, electrical grids, and airports.
For the state of Mississippi, the Investment and Jobs Act added an additional $1 billion for the state's infrastructure needs. This was a tremendous increase compared to what the state was previously receiving. It is crucial for each state to have a significant amount of funds for infrastructure. The United States has 4.3 billion miles of roads and requires an estimated $786 billion in repairs on those roads. Our nation is in need of infrastructure repair.
It's been difficult, expensive. That's a better way to put it, I think. It's a tremendous...
This issue is not a top priority for the federal government, and we want to advocate for that to change. Max Cuny explains some of the issues in our infrastructure here.
Troublesome facts, including failing and underperforming pavements, bridges that are structurally deficient or don't meet modern specifications, congestion caused by insufficient capacity in key locations.
Each year, poor road conditions cost Americans $130 billion in car repairs and accidents. While the Investment and Jobs Act did a lot for the funding of infrastructure, that is one of the very few solutions the federal government has proposed to help the issue of poor infrastructure. Individual states of America are in need of more federal funding, even if that was only temporary. Poor infrastructure harms the innocent citizens of communities that struggle, whether that is bad road conditions or bad water conditions. More bills such as the Investment and Jobs Act need to be advocated for. The federal government plays a huge role in the improvement of infrastructure, but individual communities can also help. The more active a community is, typically the infrastructure is better. Shopping in stores and just going out to eat can benefit your community. This is because of sales tax and use tax. When you buy something from a store, you are taxed. That money goes to the government, but a portion of that money will be pumped back into the county it came from. The county is obligated to use that money for certain things, and infrastructure is one of them. However, use tax is collected when shopping online. Use tax is pumped back into counties, is distributed equally throughout rather than where the money is spent. So, as individuals and communities, we should go out and support the local businesses around us, not only for the betterment of them, but for the betterment of the community. As a state and as a nation, we have to come together to improve the infrastructure of the United States as a whole. Infrastructure needs to become a top priority for the country's federal government to better the safety of families, schools, businesses, and more.